Your habits shape your destiny. Align them with your values, and you'll unlock a life of purpose, fulfillment, and growth. Success is built on small, consistent actions. Commit to your goals today, and they will lead you to the life you desire. Every day is a new opportunity, a fresh chance to take control of your life and move closer to the person you want to become. It doesn't matter where you've been or what challenges you've faced. What matters is what you do today. The decisions you make, the actions you take, and the mindset you adopt all shape your future. It's easy to fall into a pattern of waiting for the right moment or thinking that motivation will just show up. But the truth is, the right moment is now. The motivation you need comes from the choices you make and the actions you take, no matter how small they seem. So stop waiting for things to change on their own. Take one step today. Start right now. You are capable of more than you know, and today is the perfect day to start becoming the best version of yourself. Number 1. Take full responsibility for everything in your life. If there's one thing I've learned after all these years of speaking, teaching, and living, one thing that stands out above everything else when it comes to personal growth, it's this. Nothing changes until you take full responsibility for everything in your life. Not just the wins, not just the moments when things go well, but everything. The choices you've made, the ones you didn't make, the chances you ignored, the habits you let slide, the people you kept around too long, the fears you fed instead of facing. Taking responsibility isn't about blaming yourself. That's not the message. This isn't about guilt. This is about power. As long as you believe your life is shaped by what others do or don't do for you, by what your past gave you or didn't give you, by how the world treats you, then your growth is on hold. Your future is tied to people and forces you cannot control, and there's no freedom in that. There's no strength in waiting. You have to stand up inside yourself and say, I own this. All of it. The good, the bad, the choices, the consequences. This is my life. And I decide where it goes from here. It's easy to talk about change. It's easy to wish for a better body, more money, better relationships, more peace of mind. But none of those things come by wishing. They come by action, and action begins with ownership. You can't fix what you don't think belongs to you, and you will never fight for something you don't think you can influence. If your health isn't where you want it to be, own it. Not your parents' habits, not the food industry, not your schedule. Own the choices you've made. If your relationships are filled with conflict or distance, own the part you've played, the words you didn't say, the moments you chose silence instead of honesty, the boundaries you didn't set. If your career feels stuck, own your decisions, the effort you gave, the times you held back, the fear that kept you in the same place. Now this kind of honesty, real deep personal honesty, can sting. It's not comfortable, but comfort has never been the goal. Growth is, and growth demands truth. Responsibility is about drawing a line in the sand and saying, from this moment forward, I am the one who decides how this story goes. You're not erasing what happened. You're not pretending life hasn't been hard. But you are saying that what happens next is up to you. That's the turning point. That's when you stop repeating patterns. That's when you stop telling the same story that keeps you small. And that's when people around you start to feel something shift. Because when you start to move, things around you begin to move too. You see, when you take responsibility, you stop waiting. You stop looking for permission. You stop blaming and complaining. You stop looking sideways, and you start looking in the mirror. And the moment you do, you find something that's been there the whole time. Your power, your potential, your ability to turn the direction of your life around by changing what you do next. Some people think responsibility is a heavy thing. They hear the word and think burden. They think pressure. But in truth, it's the opposite. Responsibility is where freedom lives. Because once you know you're in charge, you realize you're also in control of what comes next. And that's the most freeing realization a person can have. Taking responsibility isn't a one-time event. It's a way of living. It's waking up each day and asking yourself, what am I choosing today? Not just the big things, but the small ones too. Am I choosing to complain or to solve? Am I choosing to wait or to move? Am I choosing distraction or progress? You add up enough of those daily choices, and you build a life. One way or another, you are building something. Personal growth doesn't happen because the world gives you more. It happens because you demand more from yourself. It happens because you stop waiting for a better environment, or better luck, or better people, and you become the kind of person who creates better from what you already have. No one is coming to live your life for you. No one is going to care more than you do. No one is going to fix it all while you sit on the sidelines. So stop sitting. Stop waiting for perfect timing or outside validation. Decide today that you are enough to begin, that you are worth the effort, that you will not keep giving your life away to excuses, no matter how convincing they sound. Taking responsibility means setting standards for yourself that don't depend on who's watching. It means showing up for your goals even when no one else understands them. It means doing the hard things when it would be easier to delay. And most of all, it means staying honest, brutally honest, because if you can face your truth, you can face anything. Now here's the good news. The moment you take full responsibility, things begin to change faster than you think. When you stop blaming, your mind clears up. When you stop waiting, your energy comes back. When you stop avoiding, you feel lighter. When you start owning your life, even the hard parts, you walk with a different kind of strength. And that strength builds day by day. Responsibility is not the end of the road. It's the beginning. It's the foundation. It's where real progress starts. You'll never feel fully ready. You'll never feel like everything is in place. But the power lies in starting anyway, in showing up, in saying this is mine to shape. And once you've done that, once you've taken that full and honest ownership of your life, you'll find something else begins to grow inside of you. Pride, not the loud kind, but the quiet kind. The kind that comes from knowing you showed up. You did the work, and you stood tall when it would have been easier to sit down. That kind of pride builds confidence, and that confidence fuels everything else. So take it all, the wins, the losses, the stumbles, the comebacks. It's all yours. And that's the best news you'll hear today. Because if it's yours, you can change it. If it's yours, you can build something new. If it's yours, there's hope. The life you want begins the moment you stop running from the truth and start building from it. So begin here, begin now. Take full responsibility for all of it. That's how personal growth becomes real. That's how you change your life. And that's how you become someone the world can't ignore. Number 2. Build strong habits that align with your values. There's something powerful about waking up each day and knowing your actions match the person you truly want to be. That sense of alignment. That quiet, steady confidence that comes from knowing you're not just going through the motions, is built through strong habits that reflect your values. That's how real growth begins to take root. Not in quick bursts of motivation, but in the decisions you repeat when nobody's watching. Building strong habits is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters consistently. Most people struggle because they try to change everything at once, or they chase goals that don't actually mean much to them. You don't need 50 new routines. You need a few simple habits that reflect who you are and where you want your life to go. But to do that, you first need to get clear on what you value. Not what the world says is important. Not what your friends expect of you. What you value. Do you value growth? Do you value discipline? Do you value peace? Do you value health? You have to get honest about it, because your habits will either take you closer to those values or pull you away from them, whether you realize it or not. When your daily actions don't match your deeper beliefs, life starts to feel heavy. You feel lost. You feel distracted. But when your habits line up with your values, something clicks. Your energy shifts. You stop forcing effort and start building momentum. You stop needing motivation every day because your life begins to feel meaningful, even in the small, quiet moments. Now here's the truth about habits most people avoid. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That means it's not enough to just want to improve. You need a structure that supports that desire. You need routines, triggers, environments, and boundaries that make it easier to do the right thing than to fall back into what's familiar. If you value your health, your habits should support that every day. That doesn't mean chasing perfection or burning yourself out at the gym. It means choosing movement over comfort, water over sugar, sleep over screens. It means having a simple plan and sticking with it, even when you don't feel like it. If you value integrity, your habits need to support honesty and action. That means speaking up when it's easier to stay silent, following through on what you said you'd do, choosing transparency over convenience. And yes, some days that's uncomfortable, but that's the price of alignment. And it's always worth it. If you value growth, then your habits must include learning, not scrolling, not zoning out, but challenging your mind, expanding your knowledge, and practicing what you're learning. A few minutes a day of focused growth builds more than hours of passive consumption ever will. Habits are how we live out our values in real time. They're not just about productivity. They're about becoming someone you respect. You can read about your values all day long, but if your habits don't reflect them, they stay trapped in your mind. The bridge between knowing and becoming is action. But building habits that last isn't about force, it's about strategy. Start small. Don't build habits around who you wish you were, build them around who you're becoming. Set yourself up to win. If you want to read more, leave a book out in plain sight. If you want to eat better, clean out the pantry. If you want to stop wasting time, set timers and remove distractions. Make the right choice the easy one, and make it obvious. The brain likes clarity. The more predictable your habits are, the less energy they require. And that's the point. You want to free your energy for the things that matter most, not spend it every day fighting the same internal battles. If brushing your teeth doesn't drain you, neither should preparing your body for the day or creating time to think. Strong habits also require patience. You won't feel different on day 1, maybe not even on day 10. But over time, something subtle begins to build, and then one day you look up, and you're living a life that reflects the person you set out to become. That's how you know the habits are working. It's not about how you feel after one good day. It's about who you've become after weeks, months, and years of staying consistent with the small things that matter. Habits that align with your values also create something else most people overlook: trust. You start trusting yourself again. You stop doubting every decision. You stop second-guessing your ability to follow through. And that inner trust is priceless. Because when you trust yourself, you stop needing approval from everyone else. Most people don't lack talent. They lack consistency. They drift because their habits are built on emotions, not decisions. But if you've decided what you value, and you've chosen habits that reflect those values, then even the rough days become bearable. Even the tough seasons become purposeful, because you're still moving forward, even when it's slow. This is the kind of self-respect that builds over time, the kind that doesn't need to be announced. You know who you are because you live like it. You don't have to prove anything. You just keep showing up in ways that matter. The world is noisy. You're surrounded by people selling shortcuts, life hacks, and flashy systems that promise quick change. But long-term success still comes down to this: doing the right thing, the meaningful thing, the honest thing, again and again, even when nobody sees it, even when it's not exciting. That's what strong habits look like. Not glamorous, just real. And when your habits match your values, your life starts to carry weight, not pressure, but purpose. You start to feel grounded. You start to lead yourself, and others begin to feel that too. Because people notice when someone walks with direction, when someone lives with intention. That's not something you fake. That's something you build. So take time today to ask yourself what you truly value. Then look at your habits with clear eyes, not to judge, not to shame, but to understand. What's helping you move forward? What's holding you back? What needs to change? Don't wait for motivation. Build a system, one small change at a time. Then follow through until it becomes part of who you are. This isn't about becoming perfect. This is about becoming honest, about turning your values into visible action. And that kind of alignment will carry you through any season. Number 3, choose discipline over comfort in every small decision. Discipline is the path that leads to the life you want. And every step on that path begins with the small decisions you make when no one else is watching. It's not about making a dramatic change overnight. It's about choosing, moment by moment, to act in alignment with what you say matters to you. And that choice between discipline and comfort is presented to you all day long. You won't always notice it. It's subtle. It's in the decision to wake up when your alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze. It's in the choice to finish a task when your mind wants a break. It's in the decision to take the harder road when the easier one is begging you to take a detour. That's where growth begins. Not in loud, bold moments, but in the quiet ones where you choose what's right instead of what's easy. People often wait for motivation, but motivation comes and goes. It's unreliable. Discipline, on the other hand, is a decision you make regardless of how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, bored, or uncomfortable. It simply asks, what kind of person do you want to be? Every time you pick comfort over effort, you send a message to yourself that says your feelings matter more than your future. But every time you choose discipline, you reinforce a different message, one that says your dreams matter enough to fight for, and that changes how you carry yourself. That builds confidence. That builds identity. You see, discipline isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about choosing the kind of effort that leads to something meaningful. You're not punishing yourself by working hard. You're preparing yourself for a life with more options, more strength, more clarity. The short-term discomfort becomes the investment that pays you back over and over again. Comfort feels good in the moment, but the truth is, too much comfort eventually turns into frustration. You start to feel restless, disconnected, unfulfilled. You wonder why things aren't improving, and it's because comfort keeps you where you are. Discipline takes you where you need to go. This is where most people get stuck. They wait for the big moment, the perfect time, the right mood. But the real battle is in the smallest places. Do you write the email or scroll through your phone? Do you show up to the workout or make excuses? Do you speak up when it's uncomfortable or stay silent because it's safe? These are the moments that define who you become. Discipline gives you control, not over everything, but over yourself. You stop reacting to life and start shaping it. You start to see that your actions are more powerful than your emotions. And that awareness builds trust, not with others, but with yourself. When you know you can count on yourself, everything changes. You stop needing validation. You stop needing shortcuts. You stop needing someone to remind you to do what you already know is necessary. You start becoming self-driven. And that's the kind of person who moves forward even when the road is uphill. Small choices build habits, and habits build character. The way you do the little things is the way you do everything. So if you let yourself slide in the little things, it's only a matter of time before you do the same in the big ones. That's why discipline in small decisions matters so much. It's not about the size of the task. It's about the integrity you bring to it. Sometimes the right choice will feel lonely. You'll see others relaxing while you're working. You'll hear people say you're taking things too seriously. But let them talk. Because while they chase comfort, you're building strength. While they avoid effort, you're gaining momentum. And that gap over time becomes your advantage. Choosing discipline also brings clarity. When you consistently choose what's right over what's easy, you begin to see more clearly what actually matters to you. You stop chasing distractions. You stop falling for every shiny option that shows up. You stay focused, grounded, and steady. And that steadiness, that daily discipline, it does something powerful. It builds inner peace. Because there's peace in knowing you showed up when it was hard. There's peace in knowing you didn't take the easy way out. There's peace in knowing you lived with intention, not reaction. That peace isn't loud, but it's real, and it lasts. The world will always offer you comfort. There will always be a reason to delay, a reason to rest, a reason to settle. But discipline offers you something else, something better. The chance to grow into the kind of person who can handle more. The kind of person who isn't thrown around by every little setback. The kind of person who chooses growth even when no one is watching. Don't misunderstand this. Discipline isn't about being rigid or cold. It's about being committed. It's about having a standard for yourself and refusing to lower it just because it would feel good for a moment. It's about honoring your potential enough to choose effort even when comfort is available. When you build that kind of discipline, you start to notice that life gives you more room to grow. Opportunities come because you've prepared for them. People trust you because you follow through. You start attracting what matches your effort, and that's no accident. That's the reward of consistency. It's easy to talk about success, easy to dream, easy to plan. But the people who actually live the life they want, they're the ones who chose discipline in the hundreds of invisible moments that no one ever saw. They're the ones who kept showing up, who didn't rely on hype, who didn't wait to feel ready. So the next time you face that small decision, the one that seems insignificant, pause, ask yourself what kind of person you want to be, and then make the decision that matches that vision. Not the one that feels good right now, but the one that moves you closer to who you are becoming. Because every time you choose discipline over comfort, you cast a vote for the future you want, and those votes add up. They shape your identity, they build your resilience, they strengthen your spirit, and they remind you that you're not just surviving, you're becoming. Number 4. Speak truth even when it feels uncomfortable or hard. There's a moment in everyone's life when the truth sits heavy on the tongue. You feel it rising up, wanting to be spoken, but something inside holds it back. It might be fear, it might be doubt, it might be the worry of how someone will react. But that moment, the one where you hesitate, is where character is formed. That is where growth happens. Because the truth, especially when it's uncomfortable, reveals who you are. When it's hard to stand tall. Most people believe honesty is important. They'll say it without hesitation. But it's easy to tell the truth when there's no risk, when it costs nothing, when it feels good. The real test is when the stakes are high, when the room gets quiet, when your heart starts to race. That's where honesty becomes courage. That's where truth becomes power. Telling the truth when it's difficult doesn't just affect others. It changes you. It sharpens your mind. It strengthens your voice. It teaches you to stand firm when it's easier to fold. When you speak the truth with clarity and respect, even in tough situations, you stop hiding. You stop pretending. And in that moment, something deep inside you begins to align. Speaking the truth doesn't mean being harsh or reckless. It means being clear. It means being real. It means refusing to twist your words just to make things easier. Because when you bend the truth, you also bend your integrity. You start drifting from the kind of person you want to be. When you hold back your honest voice to keep peace, you don't really create peace. You just create silence. And that silence turns into distance. You disconnect from others, and more importantly, from yourself. But when you speak openly, even if it's difficult, you give yourself permission to be seen. And that level of openness brings depth to your relationships, clarity to your path, and confidence to your spirit. Sometimes you'll be afraid that telling the truth will hurt someone, that it will cause conflict, that it will push people away. And yes, it might, but truth doesn't destroy trust. Lies do. And when you speak the truth with kindness and patience, even if it creates tension in the moment, it lays the foundation for real understanding. That's how genuine connection is built. The world doesn't need more people who say what sounds good. It needs more people who say what's real, who aren't afraid to tell the truth at work, in their homes, in their friendships, even to themselves, especially to themselves. Because one of the hardest truths to face is the one you've been avoiding inside your own mind. When something in your life feels off, there's usually a truth you're not facing. Maybe it's that you've outgrown something. Maybe it's that your choices aren't matching your values. Maybe it's that you've been settling when you know you could give more. Whatever it is, ignoring it won't make it go away. Truth waits. And the longer you delay, the heavier it gets. But once you say it, once you speak what you know deep down, you unlock something powerful. You unlock responsibility. You unlock freedom. You start moving with direction instead of confusion. Because nothing is more exhausting than pretending everything's fine when it's not. Honesty is clarity, and clarity is strength. It doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means you stop wasting energy trying to keep up appearances. You stop guessing what people want to hear. You stop building walls to protect your image. And in that space you find the freedom to grow into someone solid, someone reliable, someone respected. Now, truth doesn't always need to be spoken loud. Sometimes the strongest truth is quiet but firm. It's a simple no when everything inside you wants to say yes just to avoid tension. It's a direct conversation that you've been putting off. It's a decision to tell someone what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but so is regret. You'll never regret being honest. You might feel uncomfortable. You might wish it had gone differently. But deep down, you'll know you stood in your values. And that knowing that you didn't hide, didn't shrink, didn't lie, is what helps you sleep at night. It's what helps you walk taller the next day. And when you start practicing this kind of honesty in everyday life, you begin to lead not by title or position, but by example. People begin to trust your words. They know where you stand. They know you won't twist things to make them easy. That kind of trust is rare, and it's earned through consistency, not just once but over time. Choosing to speak the truth also means learning to listen to it. When someone tells you something hard to hear, don't run. Don't get defensive. Take a breath. Consider it. Because the same courage it takes to speak the truth is the courage it takes to receive it. And if you expect others to be honest with you, you need to be strong enough to hear what they say. So start with yourself. Speak honestly about where you are, about what you want, about what needs to change. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't delay it. Don't explain it away. Just say it out loud. Write it down. Tell someone you trust. The truth loses its power to hurt you once you face it. And once you do, you'll feel something shift. That weight lifts. That fog clears. The more you practice speaking truth in small moments, the easier it becomes in the big ones. You stop avoiding tough talks. You stop pretending. You start living in alignment. And that alignment brings a kind of peace that comfort never could, because it's real. It's earned. It's yours. Speaking truth, especially when it's hard, isn't about being right. It's about being real. It's about choosing courage over convenience, clarity over confusion, growth over safety. And those choices made over time turn you into someone others respect and you respect even more. So the next time you find yourself holding something in, ask yourself, is this silence serving me or just keeping me stuck? And then make the choice to speak. Not out of anger, not out of ego, but from a place of grounded honesty. Speak with conviction. Speak with kindness. Speak even if your voice shakes. Because every time you do, you take one more step toward becoming someone who lives with strength and speaks with integrity. Number 5. Learn something new every single day without fail. Every day offers you a quiet chance to become more, a chance to rise above the limits of yesterday. And that chance, simple as it may seem, comes when you decide to learn, not by accident. Not when it's convenient, but by choice. Learning something new every single day is how you stretch your potential and keep your spirit alive. It's how you make sure you don't stay the same in a world that's constantly moving. Growth isn't automatic. You don't get wiser just because time passes. You get wiser when you pay attention. You get better when you put effort into understanding. And when you decide that every day holds a lesson, you start looking at life differently. You become more present, more curious, more willing to ask questions, to listen, to explore. There's no such thing as a day with nothing to learn. The world is full of insights. Some come from people, some from mistakes, some from moments you didn't expect to matter. But you only catch them if you're open. If you stay willing to look beyond the surface. If you stop thinking you already know enough. A lot of people stop learning after school. They stop reading. They stop asking questions. They fall into routines and think they've figured out enough to get by. But getting by is not the same as growing. You don't grow by doing the same thing over and over. You grow by pushing the edge of what you know, even a little bit. Every day, learning doesn't need to be grand. You don't need to memorize books or take classes to grow. You just need to make a habit of picking up something new. One new idea, one new perspective, one new skill. Maybe it's something you read. Maybe it's something you observe. Maybe it's something you ask. What matters is that you're feeding your mind. You're staying active up here, not passive, not stale. Think about how many people go through the day on autopilot. Same thoughts, same habits, same excuses. They wonder why they feel stuck. It's because they're not giving themselves anything fresh to work with. When you stop learning, you stop progressing. When you stop progressing, life loses its energy. You feel it. You lose clarity. You lose drive. But when you start feeding your mind again, that energy returns. Every skill you admire started with one lesson. Every confident speaker, every great thinker, every skilled professional began by learning something they didn't know. You're not far from them. The only difference is how consistently you invest in your mind. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's habit. Decide that no day will pass without new knowledge entering your mind. That no night will end without you reflecting on what the day taught you. Maybe it's how to better manage your time. Maybe it's a lesson about how people respond. Maybe it's a better way to solve a problem. These aren't small things. These are the pieces that shape your future. And you'll start to notice something powerful. The more you learn, the more your confidence grows. Not because you know everything, but because you've built trust in your ability to figure things out. You're not afraid of what you don't know. You've trained your mind to explore, to dig, to stay hungry. That hunger, that drive to keep growing, is what separates those who move forward from those who stay behind. Make learning part of your identity, not something you do when you have time, but something you live by. Ask more questions. Read beyond headlines. Listen to people with different experiences. Reflect on what you did well and what you can improve. Keep a journal. Write down what you've discovered. Not just facts, but insights. That reflection will sharpen your thinking. It'll help you connect the dots. And over time, those dots turn into understanding. The truth is, learning isn't just about knowledge. It's about sharpening your awareness. It's about building your judgment. It's about becoming someone who sees more, understands more, and does more. It's about training your mind to stay active, your curiosity to stay alive, your attitude to stay fresh. You don't grow by accident. You grow by intention. You grow when you care enough to engage, to wonder, to ask, even when you're tired, even when you're busy, even when you think you've heard it all before. Because the moment you decide you know enough is the moment you stop becoming more. There's always something to learn, from your wins, from your losses, from the people around you, from the way your thoughts show up, from the way the world moves. But you have to be willing to see it. You have to stay humble enough to say, I don't know everything, and strong enough to do something about it. Sometimes the lesson comes in a book. Sometimes it comes in a failure. Sometimes it comes in a quiet moment, when you realize you've been seeing things the wrong way. But if you're paying attention, every one of those lessons becomes a stepping stone, a way to grow wiser, a way to handle more, a way to become someone better than you were yesterday. That's the real value of learning. It gives you the tools to handle life with more strength. You communicate better. You solve problems faster. You lead with more clarity. You live with more intention. Because you're not stuck in old thinking. You're not trapped in outdated habits. You're renewing yourself, day by day, on purpose. So don't wait for a crisis to start learning. Don't wait for someone else to push you. Take that responsibility now. Own it. Make it your job to feed your mind the same way you feed your body. Daily, consistently, with care. Start small if you need to. One article, one podcast, one chapter, one question. But do it every single day. Stack that knowledge, stack that experience, stack that wisdom, and watch how your life shifts. Not all at once, but steadily, powerfully, permanently. You don't have to become an expert overnight. You just have to keep learning. That's how you build a sharp mind, a strong perspective, and a powerful life. One day at a time, one lesson at a time, without fail. Number 6. Push through fear and take that first bold step. Fear is always loud right before you do something meaningful. It shows up when you're close to a breakthrough. It stands between who you are and who you could become. That's why pushing through fear and taking that first bold step isn't just about courage. It's about transformation. Everything you want, everything you're capable of becoming, starts on the other side of hesitation. Fear doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. It sounds like doubt, like excuses, like what if I'm not ready, or what if I fail? And if you listen too long, that voice starts to feel like reason. It sounds logical, safe. But deep down, you know the truth. That voice isn't keeping you safe. It's keeping you small. And the only way to silence it is by moving. You don't need to feel fearless to move forward. You just need to stop letting fear make your decisions for you. Boldness isn't the absence of fear. It's deciding that fear won't be the boss of your next step. That even if your hands shake, your feet will move anyway. The first step is always the hardest. Not because it's difficult, but because it challenges everything you've known about your comfort zone. It forces you to break your own patterns. You start questioning your limits. And that moment when you challenge what you've accepted as truth is the moment growth begins. A bold step doesn't need to be big to be powerful. It just needs to be real. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting. Maybe it's applying for that opportunity. Maybe it's picking up the phone. Maybe it's walking into a room you've always avoided. It doesn't matter how it looks to others. What matters is what it means to you. That it's new. That it stretches you. That it demands you rise instead of retreat. Every bold move you've ever admired in others started with the same decision, to move forward despite discomfort. Nobody starts confident. Confidence is built by acting before you feel ready. It's built by doing, not by waiting. You don't become brave by thinking about being brave. You become brave by facing the thing you've been avoiding. If you wait for fear to disappear, you'll wait forever. The fear of the unknown never leaves on its own. It shrinks when you confront it. And every time you do, you prove something to yourself. You prove that you can handle more than you thought. You prove that fear is not a wall. It's a door. And it opens when you move. Think about this. How many times have you avoided something because it felt scary, only to later realize it wasn't nearly as bad as you imagined? That's the trick fear plays. It grows in your mind until you take action. But the second you do, it loses its grip. You realize it had no real weight, just noise, just doubt, just delay. Fear is normal. It means you care. It means you're human. But it should never be the reason you stay where you are. Your future is not built by comfort. It's built by choices that demand more from you. And that demand starts with that first move. The one you've been putting off. The one that carries weight. The one that feels hard because it matters. That moment when your heart races and your voice shakes. That's your sign. You're close to growth. Don't back away. Lean in. Remind yourself why you're here. Why it matters. What you stand to gain if you follow through. And what you'll lose if you don't. Because the cost of standing still isn't just time. It's potential. It's the version of you that never shows up. Because fear keeps holding the pen. But you can take it back. You can choose a different path. You can build a new pattern. One where action replaces hesitation. No, it won't feel easy. But ease isn't the goal. Strength is, growth is. Growth is. And that first bold step gives you all three. It opens the door to possibility. It puts you in motion. And once you're in motion, momentum builds. One step turns into 2, then 5, then 10. And before you know it, you've crossed a line you once thought impossible. Push through fear. Not because you're certain. Not because you're fearless. But because you're done letting it stop you. Done shrinking. Done stalling. Done living below your ability. Choose to act even if the outcome isn't clear. Choose to start even if you don't feel ready. Because readiness doesn't come before the step. It comes after. And don't wait for someone to give you permission. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Perfect doesn't exist. What exists is now. What exists is this decision. In this moment to move. And that's all you need. One solid move. One choice to lean into the discomfort and see where it takes you. Here's what's waiting on the other side of fear. Experience. Wisdom. Self-respect. New strength. You don't just get those by wishing. You earn them by doing. And it always starts with the same decision. To stop letting fear drive. And to start walking your own path. You will stumble. You might make mistakes. But mistakes made from courage grow you. Mistakes made from fear shrink you. The difference is what you choose to listen to. That quiet pull inside you, the one telling you it's time to grow, is stronger than fear if you act on it. So take the step. Send the message. Make the call. Say yes to the challenge. Say no to the limits. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to move forward. Just one step, taken with intent, has the power to change your life. It's how every journey starts. It's how every bold life is built. Fear might still show up. That's okay. Let it come. But don't let it lead. You lead. You decide. And when you do, you'll discover something powerful. You'll discover that fear isn't your enemy. It's your signal. It's the sign that something big is possible. Something new is within reach. And it's waiting on you to say yes. Number 7. Cut out people who drain your energy fast. Your energy is one of the most valuable things you have. It powers your thoughts. It fuels your actions. It affects how you show up in the world. And if you're serious about personal growth, you must protect it with everything you've got. That means being honest about who you're spending time with and what those people are doing to your mind and spirit. Some people give you energy. They inspire you. They believe in you. They lift you higher just by being themselves. You walk away from them feeling stronger, more focused, more clear. But there are others who do the opposite. They pull you down, they drain you. They fill your space with complaints, doubts, and problems without offering solutions. And if you don't deal with that, it starts to show up in your own life. You might not notice it at first. It's subtle. You find yourself second-guessing. You feel more tired. You stop chasing your goals as hard. You make excuses. You lower your standards. And then you wonder what happened. The truth is, nothing just happened. You absorb the energy you were surrounded by. People shape you more than you realize. Their mindset, their habits, their language, it all rubs off. And over time, it either builds you or breaks you. So if you're serious about growth, you can't afford to keep people in your life who are working against your progress. You've got to draw the line. Now, this doesn't mean you're cruel. It doesn't mean you wish them harm. But it does mean you stop giving them access to the parts of you that matter most. Your attention, your time, your focus. You stop letting their negativity live rent-free in your mind. You stop making room for people who don't grow with you. The truth is, not everyone is meant to go with you to the next level. Some were only meant to be part of your story for a short time. But if you keep holding on out of guilt or fear, you keep yourself stuck. Growth demands space. Space to think. Space to act. Space to breathe. And toxic people take up that space without giving anything back. Some people won't understand your journey. Some won't support your vision. Some will mock your effort. And others, they'll just drain you quietly by always needing something. Always complaining, never showing appreciation, never contributing. You have to recognize that for what it is, emotional weight, and you have to decide you're not going to carry it anymore. You don't owe anyone your energy just because you've known them for a long time. Time alone doesn't equal loyalty. Loyalty must be mutual. Respect must be mutual. And if you're the only one trying, if you're the only one growing, if you're always the one who ends up empty, it's time to let go. This is not an easy decision, but it's necessary, because your environment matters. Who you let close to you matters. Your energy, your peace, your mindset, they are not worth sacrificing for the sake of avoiding an uncomfortable conversation. When you start making changes in your life, the wrong people will feel uncomfortable. They'll say you've changed. They'll try to pull you back. Not because they want what's best for you, but because your growth exposes their lack of it. Don't shrink to keep them comfortable. Don't downplay your ambition just to fit in. Don't apologize for wanting more. Cutting someone off doesn't mean you hate them. It means you love yourself enough to choose peace. It means you're done settling for less. It means you're done walking on eggshells. You're done spending hours recovering from 10-minute conversations. You're done explaining yourself to people who never cared to understand you in the first place. Make space for those who bring clarity, not confusion. Choose people who respect your goals, who push you to do better, who hold you accountable, who match your effort, who celebrate your wins without jealousy. These are the people who deserve a place in your circle. Now maybe you're thinking, but what if it's family? That's hard. But here's the truth. Blood doesn't give someone the right to disrespect you. You can love someone from a distance. You can care about them and still protect your peace. You don't need to argue. You don't need to prove your point. Just pull back. Focus on your own growth. Let your progress speak for itself. Your job is not to fix anyone. Your job is to become the best version of yourself. And you can't do that if your energy is always tied up in drama, guilt, and emotional chaos. You're not responsible for how others react to your boundaries. You are responsible for setting them. When you cut out the people who drain you, something amazing happens. You get your energy back. You think clearer. You move faster. You feel lighter. You start to notice how much time and emotion you were wasting. And you start investing that energy into something better. Your purpose, your growth, your peace. You don't need a crowd. You don't need everyone to like you. You just need a few real people who support your vision and walk with integrity. One loyal friend who pushes you forward is worth more than 10 people who hold you back. Quality over quantity. Always. Cutting ties is not about being cold. It's about being clear. Clear about who you are. Clear about where you're going. Clear about what you will and won't tolerate anymore. It's about choosing long-term peace over short-term comfort. This is how you level up your life. You raise your standards. You surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. You stop explaining your worth to people who don't see it. You stop fighting to be understood and start focusing on becoming undeniable. When you make this decision, it might feel lonely at first, but that loneliness is temporary. Real peace, real clarity, real alignment, that's permanent. And once you taste it, you'll wonder why you ever allowed chaos into your space to begin with. So be honest. Look around. Ask yourself, who drains me? Who do I feel tired around? Who makes me doubt myself? Who's always negative? And then make the decision. Not next week. Not when it's easier. Now, you have one life, one mind, one energy source. Protect it. Guard it. Invest it where it grows. And don't apologize for cutting out what doesn't. Number 8. Reflect daily on how you spent your time. How you spend your time will determine the life you create. Time is your most valuable asset. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Once it's gone, it's gone. So if you're serious about growth, about creating the life you truly want, you have to start treating your time with the respect it deserves. Every day is a new opportunity. A blank page, a fresh start. But that's only true if you choose to spend that time wisely. If you wake up and let the day unfold without intention, you might find yourself at the end of it feeling like you've been busy but not productive. Like you've been moving but not progressing. This happens because over time we lose sight of the small choices that add up to a life that either fulfills us or drains us. The most successful people, the happiest people, they don't leave their time to chance. They reflect. They evaluate. They check in with themselves daily to ensure they're investing their time in what truly matters. They know that at the end of the day, it's not just about how many hours you put in, it's about how you spend those hours. So take a moment and reflect on how you've been spending your time. Have you been using it to move closer to your goals, or have you been letting it slip away on distractions, procrastination, or meaningless tasks? It's easy to get lost in the hustle of everyday life. We get caught up in small, urgent things that don't move us forward. And before we know it, days turn into weeks and weeks into months, and we realize we haven't made the progress we hoped for. That's why reflection is key. You need to look at your day with honesty. Ask yourself, what did I accomplish today? Was I productive? Did I spend my time in alignment with my values, my goals, and my vision for my life? What took up my energy that wasn't worth it? Where did I waste time, and how can I avoid doing it again tomorrow? This kind of self-awareness is vital for growth. Without reflection, you risk getting stuck in a cycle of doing things without purpose, repeating actions that don't serve you, and spending your time in ways that don't push you toward where you want to be. The more you reflect, the more you can course correct. The more you see where your time is being used well and where it's being wasted, the more intentional you can become about how you spend it. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of being busy. We feel like we've accomplished something simply because we've filled our schedule. But busy does not equal productive. Just because you're running around doesn't mean you're getting closer to your goals. Reflection helps you cut through the noise. It helps you focus on what really matters and let go of the rest. Take a few minutes at the end of each day to ask yourself, what went well today? Where did I waste time? What can I do better tomorrow? It's not about beating yourself up. It's about understanding where you can improve. We all have moments where we procrastinate. We all get distracted. We all get caught up in the little things that don't matter as much, but without reflection we don't realize when those moments add up. Reflection helps you break out of autopilot mode. It helps you step out of the rush of life and take a look at the bigger picture. What's your vision? What are your goals? What are the habits that will get you there? The more you reflect on how you're spending your time, the more clearly you can see whether your daily actions align with your long-term desires. The purpose of reflection is not to judge yourself harshly. It's to give yourself an honest look at how you're using the most precious resource you have. It's to make small adjustments that will compound into big results. It's about recognizing that every day is a new chance to improve. Even if you didn't do everything perfectly today, tomorrow gives you another shot. Here's the thing. Your time is finite. You can't get it back. So the more intentional you are with it, the more you'll create a life that's aligned with your deepest values and desires. Every day is an investment in your future, and that future is built by the choices you make today. Maybe you're thinking, but there's so much to do. How can I reflect on everything? It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start small. Just ask yourself these questions at the end of each day. What went well today? Where did I waste time? What can I do better tomorrow? Keep it simple, but make it a daily habit. The consistency of reflection is what brings the power. You'll start noticing patterns. You'll see where you're consistently getting sidetracked by distractions or procrastination. You'll also see the moments where you're most productive, most focused, and most energized. Once you recognize those patterns, you can intentionally design your days to align with your strengths. You'll know when you need to focus on deep work and when it's time to recharge. You'll learn how to optimize your time for what really matters. Reflection also helps you celebrate the small wins. It's easy to get discouraged when you're working toward a big goal because the progress often feels slow. But when you take the time to reflect on what you did today, you'll see that you're making progress, no matter how small. Every step forward counts. Every effort counts. Every day counts. And reflection helps you see that. You don't have to wait until the end of the week or the end of the month to reflect. Do it daily. Even if it's just 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be long or complicated. Just take a moment to pause, to look at your day, and to honestly assess how you spent your time. When you make reflection a daily habit, you'll find that it becomes easier and more natural. You'll start seeing where you can improve, where you're already on the right track, and where you can make the most of every moment. Time is your most valuable resource, and when you use it wisely, you'll create the life you truly want. Number 9. Surround yourself with people who demand your best. The people you spend your time with will shape the person you become. If you want to grow, if you want to reach your highest potential, you need to surround yourself with individuals who challenge you, who push you to become the best version of yourself. It's not enough to just have people around you, you need to be around the right people. The right people don't just support you, they demand your best. They expect more from you, and that pressure will elevate you in ways you can't imagine. Think about the people in your life. Are they people who encourage you to stay comfortable, to settle for mediocrity, or do they push you to strive for greatness? We all have friends and family who mean well, but sometimes the people closest to us can be the ones who unintentionally hold us back. It's not their fault. They might just be playing it safe. But if you surround yourself with people who aren't pushing themselves, who aren't reaching for higher standards, it becomes easy to fall into the same pattern. You start to think it's enough just to get by, just to do enough to get through the day. Now think about the people who inspire you, the ones who make you want to do better. These are the people you need in your life. They are the ones who hold you accountable, who remind you of what you're capable of, They set high standards for themselves, and they expect the same from you. Their ambition, their drive, and their dedication will push you to level up. They won't let you get comfortable in your current position because they know that you have more potential than you're tapping into right now. When you surround yourself with people who demand your best, you are constantly being pulled up to a higher level. You won't settle for excuses because they won't accept them from you. They will hold you accountable for your actions, and in doing so, they help you achieve things you never thought possible. Growth doesn't come from easy times. It doesn't come from being surrounded by people who let you coast. It comes from being in an environment where you're constantly challenged to do better, to think bigger, and to push past your limits. Take a look at the people who make up your inner circle. Are they people who inspire you? Are they people who believe in your potential and encourage you to reach it? Or are they people who are satisfied with where they are and want you to be satisfied too? If you find yourself around people who don't demand your best, you need to evaluate that relationship. It might be time to make some changes. You might need to start limiting the time you spend with people who aren't elevating you. You need to protect your growth. It's not just about ambition, it's about mindset. When you spend time with people who have a growth mindset, who are committed to bettering themselves and their lives, their energy becomes contagious. You begin to adopt their mindset. You start to believe that growth is possible for you too, that your goals are achievable, and that the best version of yourself is within reach. The right people don't just inspire you, they make you believe that you can reach new heights. Surrounding yourself with people who demand your best also means setting boundaries. You have to be willing to say no to relationships that drain your energy and your focus. It doesn't matter how long you've known someone or how close you are to them. If they are consistently pulling you away from your goals, it's time to reassess. You don't have time to waste. The more time you spend with people who drain your energy, the less time you have to invest in your own growth. You need to protect your time, your energy, and your focus by choosing to spend it with people who are committed to living life at a high level. Having people around you who demand your best isn't always easy. It's uncomfortable at times, but that discomfort is where growth happens. If you want to be a better version of yourself, you need to stop surrounding yourself with people who make you feel good in the short term but don't challenge you in the long term. You need people who push you to be better, who don't let you off the hook when you try to take the easy way out, who hold you to your highest standards. And it's not just about you. You have to be willing to demand the best from others as well. Growth is a two-way street. If you want to elevate your life, you also need to help others do the same. Become the kind of person who challenges those around you to grow, to do better, to be better. Lead by example. When you raise your standards, the people around you will be inspired to do the same. The right people will inspire you, challenge you, and support you, but they will also hold you accountable. They will make sure you don't settle for mediocrity. They will make sure you're taking the steps needed to move forward, even when you don't feel like it. That's the kind of environment you need to thrive in. It's easy to coast when no one is holding you accountable, but it's hard to ignore your potential when you're surrounded by people who see it and expect you to live up to it. Start by evaluating the people who are in your life. Are they encouraging you to grow, to strive, to become better? Are they supporting your dreams, even when they seem impossible? Are they pushing you to take action, to stop making excuses, and to take responsibility for your future? If you don't have these kinds of people in your circle, it's time to start seeking them out. You might need to make new connections, attend new events, or join groups that align with your vision. But it's not just about meeting new people. It's about becoming that person for others. Set an example of what it means to live with purpose, to demand excellence from yourself, and to always seek improvement. When you do this, you naturally attract people who want the same for themselves. You become a magnet for high achievers, people who won't settle for less than their best, and who won't let you settle for less than yours. Number 10. Act now on your goals without waiting for motivation. Waiting for motivation is one of the biggest traps you can fall into. If you wait for motivation to strike before you take action, you might find yourself waiting forever. Motivation doesn't come on its own. It's something you create by taking action, not the other way around. So if you're serious about your goals, about making real progress, you have to stop waiting for motivation to show up and start taking action right now. The truth is, the most successful people don't wait for motivation to hit them. They act anyway, they move forward, even when they don't feel like it. They understand that motivation is not the starting point, it's the result of taking action. When you start moving toward your goals, when you begin to make progress, you'll find that motivation follows. It's the momentum you create by taking action that fuels your motivation. The most powerful thing you can do right now is to take one step toward your goal. That's it. Don't worry about feeling motivated. Don't worry about how you're going to feel once you start. Just take the step. It doesn't have to be a huge leap. It doesn't have to be a giant action. Just take the smallest action that moves you forward. Whether it's making a phone call, sending an email, or taking 10 minutes to work on your plan, just start. Once you take that first step, the next step will feel easier, then the next, and the next. Momentum will begin to build, and with it your motivation will follow. Too often, we make the mistake of thinking that we need to feel inspired before we act. But the reality is that inspiration is rare. It doesn't just show up when we need it. It's unpredictable. If you wait for it, you might be waiting forever. The good news is that you don't need inspiration to start. What you need is discipline. You need the will to act regardless of how you feel. Motivation comes after action. It's when you push through the resistance and take that first step that the energy starts to flow. Procrastination is a natural enemy to success. We've all done it. We've all put off doing things because we don't feel like it, because we think we'll be more motivated later, or because we're waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time doesn't exist. If you're waiting for everything to be just right, you're missing out on opportunities. You're delaying your progress. The only time that matters is right now. The best time to start is always today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. You will never feel ready. So you have to act now. Here's the secret. Taking action creates motivation. It's not the other way around. Once you start, you'll begin to build momentum. You'll start to feel that energy rise. The hardest part is always the beginning. Once you start, even in a small way, you'll begin to feel more focused, more committed, and more driven to keep going. But none of that happens if you don't start. If you don't take that first step, you're stuck. You're going to stay in that cycle of waiting for motivation, and nothing will change. It's all about shifting your mindset. If you wait to feel motivated, you'll always be reacting to how you feel in the moment. But if you decide to take action regardless of how you feel, you become proactive. You take control of your life, of your progress, and of your future. Motivation will no longer be something you wait for. It will be something you create. Understand this: action breeds results. It's the only way you'll ever see progress. Without action, you're just spinning your wheels. Your goals will remain dreams, your plans will stay in your mind, and you'll be no closer to achieving them than you were yesterday. But when you act, even if it's a small step, you're moving closer to your goals. You're getting one step closer to the life you want. Every action, no matter how small, brings you that much closer. Don't wait for the feeling of motivation to arrive. Start now, and motivation will come. It will come in the form of progress, in the form of results. When you see that you're making progress, you'll want to keep going. When you see that what you're doing is working, you'll feel the motivation to keep pushing forward. But that motivation can only come from taking the first step, from putting your plans into action. Without that first step, you won't see any results. And without results, motivation will stay out of reach. Think of it like this. When you wake up in the morning, you don't wait for the sun to tell you it's time to rise. You don't wait for a feeling to tell you that you should get out of bed and start your day. You just get up and go. The same principle applies to your goals. Stop waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect feeling. Start now and let the momentum carry you forward. When you act without waiting for motivation, you build the habit of discipline. You create a routine that supports your growth. The more you practice taking action, the easier it becomes. The more you move, the more natural it will feel to keep going. You'll start to recognize that it's not about waiting for motivation, it's about building a habit of consistent action. That's where the magic happens. Ask yourself, what's one small action you can take today to move toward your goal? It could be as simple as writing down your goals, researching a topic, making a call, or starting a project. The important thing is that you do something. Don't let the fear of not feeling motivated stop you. Don't let the idea of waiting for a spark of inspiration hold you back. Get moving. Start small, but start now. Motivation doesn't show up to make you feel good. It shows up when you prove to yourself that you're serious, that you're committed, and that you're willing to take action no matter how you feel. When you start moving, the motivation follows. It's simple. Action leads to results, and results fuel motivation. The next time you're tempted to wait for motivation, remind yourself of this truth. Act first and the motivation will come. Don't waste another day waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. The best time to start is always right now. Take action today, and let that action lead you to the motivation, momentum, and results you've been waiting for.